So we're recording. We're recording live. Okay.
It's official. Let's do this. So, good morning, good afternoon.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, wherever you are in the world.
In the world. It's worldwide.
Absolutely, man. This is my first time, people. First podcast, and what better way than to have the legendary Tipper Irie to break my podcasting virginity. This is undiluted, so we're talking certain talk and we're not worried about the chat. But anyway, I'd like this session to be as informal, relaxed as possible, really.
Definitely.
I've got a lot to thank you for, because it was our last conversation. I think we were sitting down on the sofa.
Yes.
And we were chatting for about, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours.
Yeah.
Touching subjects from A right through to Z.
Yes.
You know? But,
definitely.
This sort of inspired me, and I mentioned it on this today, that what we conversed about would be a good thing
to
for
speak
people
about.
to see, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
So I've got you to thank for that, Tipper.
Thank you, my brother.
And I'm glad that I know you're busy, taking the time out to sit with me and to get me on this journey.
Yes, man. We all have to start from somewhere, and the thing of having or receiving a vision and getting a vision, and then what you've now done is acted upon it, which is very inspiring in itself. That you spoke about something and then you move on it, and that's what we need to do.
Absolutely, 100%. So, you're from the vibrant community of South London.
Yes.
Dirty South to some.
Dirty South to some.
You've carved out melodies that speak to generations, bro.
Yeah.
Your tapestry is so varied. Reggae, dancehall, hip hop, collaborations. You've shaped contemporary reggae, 100%. But you also offer a fresh perspective.
Yeah.
And it seems to be grounded in root traditions, in my view. So I'm thrilled to have you here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. I mean, for me as an artist, I like to look at music from an open mind, and I've always kind of did that and been a kind of a free spirit when it comes to music, because obviously my main genre is actually reggae music, but there's different formats within the reggae music culture, like you mentioned dancehall, and then dancehall became bashment, and then obviously you've got the old school tradition, which is rock steady, mental, ska, blue beat. You have all those genres, and then you have lovers rock, which is another genre. Then you have like the roots, dub genre as well, steppers. They call it as well, which sounds like Jashaka, Channel 1, Irish and Steppers, Jayu, those kind of sounds.
Yeah.
So there's all different types of genres within the main genre, if you like, which is what I would call reggae.
Yeah.
But obviously it's taken different forms along the way and ended up, because obviously it started with those earlier blue beat, rock steady, mental, ska, and then came reggae.
Okay.
And then after that came dancehall, and then now obviously music has progressed, if you like, into jungle.
What is it now? What is happening now? Where are we at now on the music scene?
Well, for me, I mean, obviously all of those genres are still there, and they've still got those pocket scenes, but then obviously now there's a modern dancehall which is not really reggae as such. It gives it a little bit of reggae feel because they're Jamaican artists and they're speaking in Jamaican patois, but the beats are more kind of like hip hop beats, you know what I'm saying? And then in the UK obviously drum and bass has been there from the 90s and maybe just before. You know what I'm saying? So you obviously still got the pioneer MCs like the Racket Twins and that.
They're still about?
Yeah, they're still about. Still working every week. You know what I'm saying? And so and then obviously you've got the younger MCs, them that are come through now. So it's all of the scenes or the pocket of the scenes them are still there and still vibrant. Because somebody like me, you know, somebody like General Levy, these guys are out every week. And then you've got somebody like Sweetie Irie, who's kind of had success with the Gorillas and so he's successful touring with them. Right. So a lot of the old school MCs are still eating food, still working, still promoting, but but there's still a new modern dancehall scene, which is can be, you know, explicitly driven. You know, you've got people like Dexter Daps, and then you have this guy called Skeng and Skilly Bang. All these guys, you know, it's not my thing. You understand me? But the youth, I guess, get into what they're fed, and if they're fed that, then the youth are going to get into that. Dexter Daps is liked by the ladies. He's very explicit, very sexual, very whatever, and you know, he's a good-looking dude, so women will gravitate to that. Right. So you know, there's all these different pockets, you know, but the modern dancehall scene, to me, you know, this is undiluted. You know what I mean? So we have to tell it like it is. It's not for me. It's not. I still think that it's breeding an avenue for the youth them to go down where they're steering the youth them. It's just not where we want our youth to go in.
But what can we do?
Well, this is it. You know, the people them that, because the artists make it, but and it can be cut off at the point of the DJs. You know, because the DJs can say to yo, Skilly Bang, you have a nice style, you know, but you see with your content is not what we want the youth them to follow. Yeah. So we have to shut that down. So what you need to do is talk about Marcus Garvey, talk about Bob Marley, talk about Peter Tosh, talk about, you know, things that's gonna help to try to lift your youths them and the kids them mind out of the gutter and all type of things. We know it's an excuse for me to say yes, we talk where we see, because we do. We write about things what we see every day and what we experience in life, which I can understand. Yeah. You understand me? But as an adult, you know that if somebody comes up and hits your mom in the face, you know that's wrong. And you're gonna react to that because it's your mom. Right. But you know it's wrong. Yeah. And if somebody sees your mom carrying shopping and the bags are too heavy, and you go and help mom to carry shopping across the road or to her house, you know that's right.
That's a good thing, yeah.
You understand me? So at the end of the day, you know the difference between right and wrong from you're an adult. You know what I mean? So it should be the same principle in music. You know what I mean? We know the right things to do. We know the right things to say. You know.
But do we really? Do they really know?
But this is what I'm saying. That in my opinion, they know. Because they do know right from wrong. You know it's not the right thing to do to hold up a bank or to shoot somebody. You know. So just like you know it would probably be a good thing to do to help somebody. Right. You know what I'm saying? So we're not helping our kids and our generation by feeding them that. The powers that be want us to feed the youth them that negativity because it fits their agenda. Right. Understand me? And this is what the problem is. So they're going to forever push that negativity and they're going to forever push that thing because they want us to self-destruct. And if we, you know, just follow suit, then, you know, that's what's going to happen, you know. And us as people, we need to bond together. We need to lift each other up. We need to strengthen each other so we have something for our youth then to aspire to.
Totally.
You know what I'm saying? And that is a problem because even if you look in a lot of the communities now, you know, there's a lot of other communities that were here after us and have achieved more, but whether if you're looking at the financial or economic aspect of it, you know what I mean, they're more together, you know, because they know the strength of our people, you know what I mean. So the way to make us weak is to divide and rule and, you know, infiltrate us and make us fight each other and destruct each other. And one positive way to do that is through the music.
Yeah. I had a thought the other day, like if we stripped Jamaican and we stripped Barbados and we stripped Trinidad and we stripped Antigua and we just call ourselves African.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Even so, you know, even on a mental level, we're divided.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because, you know, my latest album is called I'm an African, you know, because that's me recognizing that my ancestors, I'm African, I'm a black man, black guy, born in London, you know, but my parents are from Jamaica, from the Caribbean, so I see myself as an African.
And me sing say, I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so you know I know where I'm coming from. I'm a black man, I'm an African, and my parents are Jamaican, and I grew up in a London, so you know I know where I'm coming from.
But obviously I have to pay homage to where my parents were born, and then I grew up here. So as a UK artist, I'm still trying to fly the flag for the music that is made here. And this is why, you know, we would be a lot further along if all of this childish behavior wasn't there amongst our Caribbean people.
So,
you know what I mean? Because if you're Jamaican, oh, me not do them small island, oh, me not this, me not that. And then if you're from Barbados, oh, them Jamaican, them two, this, them two, that. And it's childish, really.
It is.
You know what I mean? And if we all got together and built communities, like, you know, you go along and you see the Asian communities, they got this big church built, I drive past it when you're in Birmingham, and then they build this one and they build this one, but they all put together and they build something for their community.
Well, we had that before, didn't we?
Yeah, we had that. Yeah.
I'm sure we had that with the pardon system.
Yes, we did.
And isn't pardon system now money laundering?
Yeah, well, this is it, you know, but unfortunately, it's just the fact that we need to just love one another and be, you know, transparent is a good word.
How easy is that though?
But that's what I'm saying, because I've experienced that in a lot of times whereby, you know, I've been amongst bands and organizations, and there might be a group of us, maybe 4 people involved, and then even with Saxon, there was like maybe 10, you know, 10 key figures, you know. But if I get a show, you know, with, say, you know, Damian Marley's manager contacted me to do a show, to do the True Cruise, you know, and so we work out a fee, and there's 4 people involved. So I contact the 4 people involved and say, yo, this is the gross, you know what I mean? And then, right, here's your quarter, there's your quarter, there's my quarter, and, you know, and here's your quarter.
Even split.
And then you go to do the show, you know, you get all of what you asked for before the event, before you get on the cruise. So there you go, bro. There's yours. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
It's simple, it's easy. But then if the money falls into the wrong hands, then he's gonna want to pocket
a bit more,
and not make it an even split. You know what I mean? And then he's gonna put, and then you want to palm off there. You just take that. You just take that, and you just take that, rather than saying, yo, this is what it is, this is everything, and we're gonna split this equally and go and do this work. And and make this thing happen.
So, in the spirit of like kind of collectiveness and, partnership and collaboration, how can that work when you've got individuals who have that particular mindset?
Well, this is the difficult thing. It's a difficult question to answer because that is their mindset. Whether it be coming is, you see, a lot of it's background as well. Because if you're coming from that criminal mindset and that hustling mindset, and you haven't got the love for the people that you're working for, working with, or you feel it's your right to have more than everybody else because of whatever reason you decide to, or you think, then this is what the problem is. It's difficult for us to just say, yo, let's just be transparent. Let's just be fair. This person is putting in as much as me. You know what I mean? This person was there from day one. This person helped me build this thing. So they're entitled to an even split. And if you're at the start of your career and somebody's giving you, a leg up, for instance, then hey, what they give you, be grateful because they're giving you a leg up. But if you help somebody build something and then it's reached its peak and they've been there with you all the step of the way, they've been through the carrying the sandboxes, they've been through, working all night in a dance, and then you go for your little change, and then the brother that owns the sound tells you, yo, the man gone with the money, and you've been there all night working. There's been on occasion, but that's their negligence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're just there to do your job, and you've done your job now, and the man's telling him, boy, the money gone, the man's run off with the money. So it happens. So all of these things, it's all mindset, it's all individuals, it's all, if people you can sit and you can talk to them and say, yo, this is what I want to do. This is my plan. Let's just do it together and make this thing happen. But, I've been around many musicians, and there's maybe always one or two that stand out in a band.
Right.
It's like McCartney and Legend. Paul McCartney, John Legend. They stand out. They were probably the main two, songwriters. Ringo was a drummer, but he's a drummer.
Yeah.
If you replace the drummer, might not be exactly the same, but it's not Paul McCartney or John Lennon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like with Saxon, it's Tipper Irie, Papa Levi. You know what I mean? The mainstays of the MCs at the time. You know what I'm saying? So for us, it's like we had something that was special with the five of us. Tipper Irie, Papa Levi, Daddy Rusty, Sandy, Colonel, and if you keep an event with the five of us, because everyone's got their favourite MC or whatever that they like. So it's a band in a way, and bands have a way of breaking up for whatever reason, you know what I mean? Somebody might be jealous of this man because this man has achieved a bit more success, or this one's got more following, this man might take too much drugs, this man might drink too much, and then because of all these things, bands break down. There's a lot of rock bands like that, a lot of hip hop bands like that, that I know that have broken down for these things. That's why it's hard, because you would think if somebody had a band, just for instance, Jurassic 5 is like a huge hip hop group, and everybody's cool, and then all of a sudden 2 members start fighting, and then he says to the other member, I'm never working with you again. So straight away now he's disregarding all the other members in the band that hasn't got nothing to do with your beef or with your argument, and you're taking food out of those people's mouth because you and this man have decided to say, yo, for whatever reason we're gonna fight, and you know what I mean? And then so this is the thing, and so we have to always, there's always these things that are gonna occur to smash up a band, loads of bands out there that you could name, you know, UB40.
I think we spoke about that before, didn't we?
Yeah, the two brothers, them don't talk anymore. So there's one UB40 over there, and there's one UB40 over here.
I was totally unaware of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, and they don't speak for whatever reason. It doesn't matter really what the reason is, but they were fighting over the name, they were doing all these kind of things. And, you know, really and truly, you know, for where they're coming from being on the dole to forming a band.
Well, UB40 is
Yeah.
the old thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It was a dope thing. So, you know, if you think they're coming from there, but then, you know, like they said, money, fame, drugs, whatever you want to call it, it causes people to, their mindset
changes.
If everybody in the band was a health freak, you know what I mean, that would just drink, they eat what they eat, you know, eat decent food, you know, whatever food they like, no drugs, no whatever, just healthy living. Maybe they'd still be together.
Do you think? Sorry to cut you, but do you think that that's just part of that culture? Like,
well, yeah, it is. There's, you know, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. It's part of the game. You know, I've been there myself. You know what I mean? I've never been into the hard drugs. You know what I'm saying? But I smoked herb. You know what I mean? Which is you know, for me is herb. You know what I mean? But it's still a drug. In a sense, but it's a natural drug, but it's still a drug. But I've never been, that's just me, you know. And then if you're in a group and somebody starts to do that, then it's gonna affect the whole group. Because when they start to do that, they then don't want you around because they know you don't do that. You understand me? And that's what the problem is with me a lot of the time. I've been around a lot of famous people and but they know tip are squeaky clean. So they're not going to want you around because you're not in the toilet with them doing what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So it's very difficult to make the thing work sometimes because it's a lot of it is individuals. You know?
So let me take you back to your early days in South London.
Yeah.
How did that environment nurture your initial steps into the world of music?
Well, it was I was lucky because my dad had the sound system. So because he had the sound system, I grew up listening to U-Roy and Big Youth and Dennis Al Capone and Trinity, people like that. And then obviously, you know, we used to listen to Motown, you know, and then country and western, it was Jimmy.
That was real music, right?
Yeah, proper music. Because somebody like Motown, Barry Gordy and these guys, they wouldn't just go by, you know, it wasn't just about them. It was about the family of Motown, you know, of all the people that were involved there, whether you be the cleaner, whether it be the press person or the A&R or whoever. Everybody had to like the tune. You know, so if they made a tune, they're gonna play it to everybody in the office. And if everybody say, yo, this is a hit, then they're gonna go with it. But if they bring a tune and someone, I think it's good. And the next man's like, nah, it's not gonna go. You know what I mean? So with me, it was you know, when my dad, he had the sound. So I grew up listening to that, listening to Motown, listening to Jim Reeves. And then we used to have bands that used to rehearse in my dad's basement. So in the weekdays, I used to be, when I come home from school or wherever, they might come in the evening after work. And I'd just be down there just watching them jam. And that kind of helped me to more get into being a musician. You know what I mean?
How old were you?
I mean, maybe 12, 13, 14, 15, coming up 16. And then I made my first ever tune when I was 17. But in them days there, you know, because it was the blues dances on Friday and Saturday, you know, and then in the week, we had bands, you know, me and my sister used to be there. So it was like, it was just a natural progression that I would just fall in love with music again, because I was just surrounded by it, and all my friends were interested in music, and then anything to do with music. I used to play steel pan, so I used to go to Notting Hill Carnival and play in Paddington Youth Steel Band. So it was just anything to do with music, I was just engrossed. So that kind of just helped me to transition from the sound system to making my first tune, then to do live recordings, live albums as an MC. And then after that, I got a record deal with Green Sleeves, because Saxon was just kind of like the flavor at the moment at the time. So all of the transitions, then I've been quite lucky, but you still have to make your own luck. You have to put in the work.
Okay.
And from you put in the work, then you know it can happen. You know. It can happen for you because people, they see. If you've got something, people, they see it.
I believe that sometimes we don't see our own potential.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people say, oh, you can speak to the podcast, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I couldn't see it.
Sometimes, yeah, that's right. You can do it. Well, we're doing it.
We're doing it now.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, you know, it's like a lot of artists, they're there and they've been there for yonks, and it might take them. And that's why I say don't give up, because it might take them a little while to get that tune, because it only takes one tune to change your life.
True.
You know, if you think of Dawn Penn, no.
Yeah. So I said no, yeah. Go on. Sorry, yeah.
You understand me?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's her signature tune. General Levy, incredible. He's got other tunes, but the minute you mention General Levy, you think of it special. And it's just really, you know, he's got some nice other tunes, you know, but that's his signature. That's the one that stood out for him, you know. And, you know, Sweetie Irie, you know, the tune that he done with the Gorillaz, you know. There's only but artists that just have that something and they get that one tune. So you can do that. But I feel like if you really got something, Sweetie Irie's got something. Vocals, unique. General Levy's got that energy and the way the wordplay with his lyrics, you know. And Dawn Penn found, maybe not the greatest vocal, but she found a tune that made her signature tune. Same with Sister Nancy, Bam Bam, you know what I mean? Talented person, beautiful human being, you know what I'm saying? But that's the tune. That resonated with everybody, and that's made her, even up to this day, Jay-Z and them have used the sample. Okay. So she's getting some royalties from that, what she deserved from a long time. So it's like sometimes you just have to search and keep going, and then that tune will come, you know.
So can you share your secret to staying relevant across?
Well, I'm just like I said, I think I said, I don't know if I said it at the beginning of the podcast, but it's having an open mind with music, you know what I mean? Because when I was on Green Sleeves, we started with the dancehall, old school Studio One rhythms they built back, you know, and I was young. I was like 18, 19, so I didn't really have much say. He just decided to build back those rhythms, and I just went with it, and I did Tipper Irie and the Colonel, Just a Speak, and the tunes came out, and they were successful. You know, they went to number 2. Tipper Irie and the Colonel, I think, went to 2 in the reggae charts. You know, then I did Good Time of Feeling the Best. It was on the old Conversation rhythm. You know, I think the Tipper Irie and the Colonel was on the Answer rhythm, Studio One. Conversation, I think that's another Studio One. But they just rebuilt back the rhythms them.
Yeah.
And Complaint Neighbor was Herb Man hustling, Sugar Man, everybody's a Herb Man hustling. It was that rhythm, you know what I mean? But then Hello Darling came down and it was original, completely original. Original song, original rhythm, original arrangement, everything.
Would you say that was your signature?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's definitely my signature tune. I mean,
Oh boy. Now who's that girl over there? I really gotta talk to that chick, cause that is one cool sugar candy girl. Chick, she's a slick chick, she's a slick chick. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. Hello, darling, hello, good looking. Hello, darling, hello, good looking.
I mean, I got tunes like Ragamuffin Girl with Peter Honeygale, which went to #1, and Superwoman with Winsome, that went to #1, and Stress with Lloyd Brown. But even though Stress went to #1, I think the tune that I done with him called It's a Love Thing with Lloyd Brown, I think that tune's even more popular than Stress.
That had a kind of a lovers rock.
Lovers Rock. Yeah, it was Lovers Rock. It was straight Lovers Rock because it was produced by the administrators, a label called Groove and a Quarter.
Okay.
And those guys produced many like reggae #1 tunes. They've done a tune called Woman of Moods with Trevor Dixon. They did Sugar Love Jones, Vivian Jones, Sugar Love, you know, and then they had tunes like Emergency and She's My Lady, some really classic lovers rock tunes. So, but for me, my signature is definitely, I gotta say it's Hello Darling.
I would definitely say that.
Because that went to the pop charts, you know, and that kind of like took me on another level. It took me to the homes.
Did you do Top of the Pops?
Yeah. Yeah, I did Top of the Pops in 1986. I did Top of the Pops. I've done it twice.
What was that like?
It was amazing. It was amazing because remember, you know, I mean, it was easy for me. I mean, people ask me what it was like, how did I transition? But remember, I'm coming from being in dances in the darkest of the darkest, you know what I mean? With, you know, undesirables, with beautiful women, with you know, it was a cross between everything. And the people were right there. They're right in front of you.
So you trained in that?
Yeah, it's like my training. So, because if you're not good, they're gonna tell you straight away, bro, put down the mic, or bro, give the mic to somebody else because you ain't doing it tonight, or you're not doing it. So for me to go on TV and just mime and sing, it's just like, you know, I knew the song in my head, so it's just singing along to it. So to me, it was easy, you know. So yeah.
So your music beautifully blends reggae, dancehall, and hip hop. What inspires you to explore these genres, and how do you merge them to create your iconic tunes?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's a vibe and a feeling, and music is about that. So whether it's sometimes you work with people and it works, you know, and the music for me is the beat. Because if I've got the beat and I feel the beat, I find my lyrics come straight away. It doesn't take me long. You know, my album Stick to My Roots, I just said to myself, right, the first thing what comes into my head, that's what I'm gonna go with. So when he sent me the tunes, you know what I mean? I done it with the Far East band, a brother called Marcus Baresi. And he sent me the rhythm for Stick to My Roots. And as soon as I heard it, I just went, stick to my roots. I stick to my roots. Okay, that worked. And then I just started to write. Then I wrote the lyrics. I put it down, I sent it to him. Yes, Tipper, we like that. And then he sent me another tune. The first thing comes to it's just me and this mic all day, all night. Because, you know, you're going through things in your relationship. I think I was going through my divorce at the time. And so when you're going through things like that, you turn to the things that has always been there and always held you in good stead. And it's me and the mic. You know what I mean? So whenever I was going through stuff, I would write about whatever I was going through. But it was always me and the microphone that I could turn to for me to write my lyrics, and then I'll just be there with the mic and just, you know.
Do you think struggle benefits your craft?
It can do, definitely, because with me, I tend to write about the struggles, you know, of my people, not just what I'm going through, just my people in general. You know, I've written songs about when the lockdown was on, you know, I wrote a song called The Team, you know what I mean? And the team's just talking about the situation, what we as a race we were going through at the time. And then I wrote about 2 songs, but I didn't want to call it that thing, you know what I mean? I just wanted to name it something different, but it was basically talking about the thing. So you end up, me personally, I end up writing about definitely what I'm going through and things what I'm experiencing in my life. I end up writing about it because there's a lot of unfair things that happen to men.
Yes.
You know, because men go through, you know, a lot, especially in the system. You know, men that are fighting to see their kids, you know, and they can't, you know, they ain't got the right to see their son for whatever reason, you know what I'm saying? And then there's people that's taking men that don't deserve to be taken through the system, and the system is just, don't even want to listen to you, because it's not every dad is a deadbeat dad.
Very true.
It's not everyone that's, you know, that don't want to be there for their kids or don't want to, you know, so there's all these things that us as men go through where sometimes, you know, and it's unfair. A lot of the times it's unfair, and the system, it's like they want to weaken the black man sometimes with how they behave and how they treat us, you know, because we're not all the same. You know, there's some men that's got a football team, you know, or got 2 football teams, and you can't manage your kids then, because obviously you got 2 football teams and you can't stick, you know. But then there's some men that's got 2 kids or 3, and they want to do the right thing by their kids, and they're not getting that opportunity because maybe the father is not with the mother anymore and she's resentful, and then all she wants to do is hurt the father because he chooses not to stay with her. So a lot of us have gone through these things. So these is just things, but I write about all of these things, and I write about my experiences, however painful it is. But a lot of the times there might be a woman judge, and the woman judge will, you know, stand for the woman, even though the man don't do nothing. You know. So it is what it is. But things happen in life. And when they happen, it's how you deal with them.
It's how you manage it, 100%.
Yeah.
I know life has thrown me a few curveballs, and I've had to manage it. It's been very difficult in some situations. You know? Yeah, because you have to control yourself. Yeah. You have to discipline yourself. You have to take a step back, breathe in, and say, right, how am I going to maneuver out of this situation now? And how am I going to navigate that without incriminating myself and without disrespecting anybody? Just going about it the right way. But sometimes when you want to do that, the system makes you suffer. When you want to do things the right way and go about things the right ways, you know, so it sends you maybe on an avenue or on a road that you don't necessarily want to take. Definitely. But because of how the system is laid out, you have to Jim Screech or go around corner, this and that to survive. Yeah. I think the way the system, we call it the system and stuff, but it's just the way things are, the way the law is, and how it's constructed and stuff. You know, it does tend to, I guess, emasculate the man, feminize the man to a degree. And I heard that statistically, levels of testosterone in men are dropping. You know, and testosterone is that thing that gives men that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So if that's dropping in men, and men are, I guess, the gatekeepers, the strength of a community.
That's right.
Then the system can walk all over you.
That's right. Because our women need us to be strong, because a man, is, primarily the stronger, human, and all these things that you see around us, these buildings and that, most of them have been done by men. All the cars and the factories and this and that, all of these things that need that physical strength of a man, it's needed. So we need to keep our men as men. And strong. And, because we don't know what is coming.
I think conversations like this, and I'm sure that obviously kind of dealing with bits and pieces of music and and stuff like that. But I think this subject deserves
another podcast.
Yeah. Where we can talk about men and get the man them of say my generation, your generation, kind of informing the younger generation of these are the mistakes that we made.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm saying these are the failures we made.
That's right. Yeah, because we made them. Because sometimes it's like, when I think about it, I've got 3 boys and 1 girl, and they're for all different women. You know what I mean? And it's not even that, none of my kids were like, we sat down and say, babe, you know what, I think we should have a son together, or we should have a child together. You know what I mean? It was just, a lot of it was just based on lust, if the truth, and from, I was 18 when I had my first son. You know what I mean? And Joyce was 17, I was 18, and she came with a Bible, and we knew what we were going to do, but then we didn't think to say, oh, you know what, maybe we should protect ourselves, because obviously if we're not going to be protected, the chances are you're going to get pregnant. You know what I'm saying? And we didn't, and then along came Micah. You know what I'm saying? And then a little bit after that, maybe 3 years after that, I was at an event playing out. I met Banky, and then boom, the same thing happened again. You know what I'm saying? And I've made that, and then, my daughter, her mum just said, I couldn't have kids. I can't have kids.
So you thought free pass, let's go and have some fun. I'm on tour, come back off tour. Tip, I'm pregnant. I'm like, really? But you told me you couldn't have kids. Oh. So I'm like, okay. So, so this is what I'm saying. So, but it's my fault, because I should have, even though I was lied to, where it comes to that, it's still my fault, because I should have protected myself. Who then is responsible? In situations like that.
Yeah.
Right? Is it the man? Should definitely strap up and...
Well, if you want to be in control of your own destiny, you need to protect yourself as the man. Even though it's the same thing what we was talking about with transparency. Because you might be thinking one thing and the woman is thinking something else. Because they've got their ulterior motive. They have their ulterior motive. Boy, it's too hairy, man. I wanna have his baby, or I love this man. I wanna have his child. But what's wrong with saying, babes? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about us having a child together? Would you like that? You know what I mean? And then the man say, well, look, maybe right not now. Maybe we could do that down the line. You know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody. Being married. And you could be, or not even married, just in a relationship.
Yeah.
And then the woman decides to go into religion. You know what I mean? Or decides to become a Christian, or decides to become a Jehovah's Witness, for instance. You know what I mean? And she's not discussed that with her partner. She's just gone ahead and said, and then she comes on and said, boy, babes, I'm now a Jehovah's Witness. You know what I mean? And then you're saying, well, babe, I didn't sign up for that. That's not what, or we didn't have the discussion. You know what I'm saying? So...
Should that make a difference though?
But it should, because it's a discussion of it's a serious thing, because it's now beliefs that you as a man might not have the same beliefs, or they might have things in that religion where you personally don't agree with that. You know, whether it might be, I don't know, giving blood, for instance, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, apparently they don't give blood. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, something might happen, God forbid, to one of our kids. Mm-hmm. And the doctor said, yo, Londo, tip up, hear what? Boy, your son needs this, you know, and you got it. Mm. What are you going to do? You're going to let your son die? Mm. I ain't letting my son die.
Yeah. That's huge.
It might be far-fetched, but
it's a possibility still.
So, but if your missus now just decide to go on that route, and you know, that's why things break down.
So communication's key.
It's key.
But not everyone can communicate. Well,
that too.
I shouldn't say that. I think we all can communicate in some way, but it's whether or not, I guess, we're understanding what each other's saying, or each other's points of view, we're accepting of that, or we're just kind of stuck in our ways like, nah.
Well, this is it. So for me, you know, I was watching the guy, I can't remember, he's a comedian, but he was so funny, you know what I mean? Because he was talking about religion, you know what I mean? And all these things, and it's like, you know, you as an individual, you can put your trust into somebody in the sky, and if you know, there's 10 commandments, and you've got to stand by these 10 commandments, and if you don't stand by these 10 commandments, you're gonna burn, you're gonna have everlasting burning. But he loves you, you know. So if he loves you so much, although you made these mistakes, why would he condemn you to burn forever?
Yeah.
It's a bit extreme.
Yeah. You know, I think there's an absence of like critical thinking, and I'll tell you this. Just yesterday, I was talking on the way up here. I was talking with my son. 7 years old. He's in the room.
Yeah.
And I was talking about, you know, what do you think of the Bible?
Yeah.
I was like, it's good. It's a book. He said, there's a book. Lots of books in the book, Daddy. I said, yeah. So what do you think? I said, it's all right. I said, what's your favourite story?
Yeah.
He goes, Jonah and the whale.
Okay.
I said, all right, that's decent. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
He goes, well, Daddy, I can't tell you everything, but well, do your best.
Yeah.
Just share with me what you remember.
Well, you know, yeah.
So, you know, he spoke about, you know, Jonah was told by God. He doesn't use the word God, he used Yahweh.
Okay.
So the proper term,
Yeah.
Yahweh gave him an instruction to go to this place. I can't remember the place. I said, Nineveh. He goes, yeah. It's time to go down there and speak to the people, but John disobeyed. Yeah. And he ended up on a boat, and the people on the boat threw him off, because in throwing him off, the storm stopped. Yeah. So this is what he's telling me. Yeah. And then he was swallowed by a whale. Yes. So I said to him, so he was in the whale how many days? He goes, 4 days. I said, no, I think it was 3. Yeah. So, okay. I said, I wonder what it must be like, you know, being in the belly of a whale, smelling that stomach and that. Yeah. He goes, well, Daddy, the whale's stomach acids would have killed the man. I said, interesting. Yeah. So, do you think that story is true, or do you think maybe it's a story which provides you with an example of, you know, following that instruction that God gives you, or Yahweh gives you, and that if you don't, then, you know, your decision not to do something can affect people around you, can have you isolated sometimes. So I'm saying, so for me and for him, it was an exercise in critical thinking. Like, it's not everything you take as truth. Like, that is bang for bang. That's what it is. Maybe there's a message inside of that story. You know? But it's difficult because there are individuals out there who say, that is the word.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Yeah, it's difficult, you know, and that's why, for me, it's just simple. God is love. So I just deal with love. I just do unto others as I want them to do to me. And if you're fair with me, I'm fair with you. If you're disrespectful to me, I keep my distance. I keep away.
But I noticed you didn't say, I'll be disrespectful to you.
Yeah.
So you don't always have to match.
No, that's right. Well, this is what I'm saying.
Energy.
So they come with the negativity. You keep, I go in the other direction, because if I match that, that's the two of the heads there. What's it gonna bring? It's just gonna bring destruction.
Yeah.
And that's time wasting for me. I'm wasting my time and my energy. I could be with my missus, or I could be with my kids, or I could be doing something that's making me happy.
I get you.
So for me, if you're gonna come with that vibe, then I just walk.
I hear that. If you could give one piece of advice to your younger self at the start of your career,
Yeah.
right? I just asked you earlier whether you want me to kind of get pre-up these questions and
Yeah.
stuff. I'm going to throw them.
Yeah.
What would it be? What advice or piece of advice would you give to yourself at the start of your career? What would it be?
I guess it would be to, I guess the advice, what would I give to myself? I think it would be probably to join the music union.
Okay.
And to get more, read contracts better.
Okay.
Get more, I guess, more, what's the word, legal advice at the beginning, because at the start of your career you're just excited a lot of the times, and you're not really thinking about the real business end.
I would definitely agree, because I mean, music is obviously clearly a passion, your passion. That's what you want to do.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like, it's difficult, because if you're a musician and a man comes to you and you don't have nothing, and a man says, yo, I got £250, take it or leave it, and you got nothing, what are you gonna do? You're gonna probably take it because you need that money, or you feel you need that money.
Yeah.
Or so you take it, and then he's gonna say, well, sign this piece of paper here. And then that, in taking that £250, you've signed away
Your rights.
your rights to everything. So so I would have probably taught my younger self to say, as much, because I still was eating.
Okay.
I still had a little sound system thing going on. It wasn't much money. And then I was still at home with my mum. My mum was working, my sister was working. So it's not like I would have gone hungry. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if I did review my contracts earlier at the beginning, I probably would have got a better result financially out of them. And I probably would have been owning a lot of my tunes today, like Hello Darling.
So you don't own that?
No, I don't own that. They're still owned by Greensleeves.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they're still eating off that, are they?
Yeah, it's still ticking over, but they still give me statements and stuff. So I still have a little income. I still get my publishing and stuff like that. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
it makes
yeah.
sense.
Okay.
It makes sense. If it doesn't, I'll watch the video again and
All right.
take it on board. But I want to move on now to your autobiography.
Yes, sir.
Stick to
my roots. That's important, man.
Speaks volumes, bro.
Yeah, because this is what we have to do. We have to stand true to our roots and stay grounded, and we can't stay stagnant. We have to move on from the people that we came up with, because not that move on from them, but you can't just stick in one place or stay in one place, and you gotta have to let people go and move on, because you might grow and they might not want to grow, for whatever reason. But the book is my autobiography. First autobiography, virgin experience. You know what I mean?
What was that like? In terms of?
Well, it was
self-discovery.
Yeah, it was like trying to have a good memory.
Okay.
You know, I got a decent memory because I got to remember my songs, but you know, it's trying to have a good memory, a memory to try to remember all what was going on in my childhood, in becoming an MC, you know what I mean, listening to the teachers like you, Roy, and these people, imitating them, and then developing your own style based on where I grew up and where I was from, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then speaking about my parents, you know, where they grew up and their childhood and them leaving from Jamaica and coming to England, you know. So I spoke about that, spoke about Jamaica and spoke about them moving to England and things, what they had to go through, you know, institutional racism on the whole, whether it be the skinheads, the teddy boys, and, you know, whether it be, you know, just people just on the bus, you know, just disrespecting my mum, and my mum had to slap up a old man one time because of the disrespect that she showed her, you know what I mean? So we talk about all those kind of things in the early first chapter. Me and my school friend Neil playing penny up the wall, going to school, you know what I mean? And my dad chasing after me because I should be at school and I'm out on the road playing penny up on the wall. And my dad coming for me at the youth club because I should be in the shop. And I'm down at the youth club playing pool. And he's chasing me around the pool table, telling me not to run.
Did he catch you?
Yeah, he catch me a couple of times, but I'm only going home to get it anyway, so it don't make sense. You can run, but you can't hide in it, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so it talks about all of those early years, you know what I mean, in my life and stuff like that. Then it talks about the early years of me being on these sound systems, like my dad's sound, tipograph, stereograph, Nasty Rockers, sounds like Saxon, King Tubby's, all these sounds. And then I talk about some of my experiences with the sound system. And then it kind of moves on to Saxon sound, and when I talk about the history of the sound from the 70s coming up to the present day. And then obviously my experiences again of going to Jamaica, you know, one of the first British sounds to go to Jamaica with them. And talk about that. And then I talk about, I mean, I don't want to give away too much because we want people to buy the book.
Of course.
You know, but I speak about my sister, Miss Irie, and my good times with her, and the tragedy of her losing her life. That was a very, very sad year for my family because me and my sister Jackie, we lost our dad. And then 6 months later, we lost our sister.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, so we went through a tough time then. So I speak about all of that in the book and how it broke down and the trident and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? And then, I speak about fame. Of being in Brixton, you know, at school and mashing up the assembly at school, you know what I mean? Because, you know, you had talent competition back in the days and everybody had to go and perform something at the assembly. And I went there one year and I just brought the house down with some lyrics, you know what I'm saying? So I speak about coming from school, being in the assembly and bringing the assembly down to Top of the Pops, and then to Grammy, to the Grammys, with Black Eyed Peas. Yeah. So it takes me right up to that. So, and then it just continues, and the story continues and continues, and then until it concludes.
Did writing the book reveal any underlying kind of themes in your sort of life's journey that surprised you? I mean, looking back.
I wouldn't say so because it's like you have to throw yourself. It's just like what you're doing now. You know, you thought about something and you're throwing yourself in the deep end.
Very much.
And you dive for it. So that's how I kind of approach my career. You know what I mean? So you know what, I want to do this, so I just got to, you know, and I didn't really want to be a builder. You know, I didn't want to carry cement bags or mixing cement. I mean, I could have probably went into something else, but when I left school, I didn't really have much qualifications, if any. You know what I'm saying? So once I discovered that I had this talent, I said, right, I'm gonna make this work for me. So that's what I did, and it paid off. You know, I just kept going to the dances, getting better and better, writing songs, writing lyrics, this and that, and then people could see the talent. You know, going back to what I was trying to say before, you know, after a while, there's a lot of artists that's been there for a while and they haven't really, you know, they've been trying forever and they still can't get nowhere. But I think if you really got something, people will see that and they want to invest in you.
I believe you, and I think full ratings to you for your consistency, like you've stayed on it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Even though I guess, you know, you don't have that kind of, you're not in everyone's mouth, you're still grinding, you're still
you can't, you know, there's a lot of people, you know, sometimes, you know, it's hard, you know, because I will play out sometimes and there's 5,000 people there. You know, it's like I did Reggae Land in Milton Keynes. And at Reggae Land, everybody that goes there has a choice. You know what I mean? Because they have a main stage, and I was on the second stage down, which is the Hilltop or something stage. It was causing a huge marquee, and then they had Mr. Vegas on the main stage, and then, but at exactly the same times that I was on, and then they've got all these sounds scattered around, so it's like 38,000 people. So it's a lot of people, but they still don't have to come and see you, you know. And I had 5,000 people in my tent. So after the Dub Pistols finished, I'm thinking to myself, boy, I wonder how much people are gonna come see it. You know what I mean? And when I looked out there and I saw that 5,000 people, that made me feel good. Last night it was 150 people I performed to. You know what I'm saying? At Holiday Inn. So you have to take the rough with the smooth. You have to accept that some nights I can pay my musicians them more. Some nights I pay them a little less, but they understand that when Tipper gets a great gig, he's gonna pay us well. But when he's got a gig that is not so great, but you know what I mean, it's still an income. They're still gonna get paid. So
then they're not the type to kind of say, this is our rate. And we want our rate, even if you get no money, zero, you still want our rate.
No. Uppercut Band, they're good guys, good people, so they work with me. But it's the game, it's the music business, which is understand it's a business, so you have to make money. But you still need to work with people that are flexible and that understand the game, that it's not always rosy in the garden. So for me, those 150 people or 5,000 people, it's the same show. They get the same show, they get the same energy, they get the same vibe, because those 150 people, I know they pay their money to see me. You know what I mean? The 5,000, maybe a lot of them came to see other artists as well as me, but they were other artists on while I was on. And they chose to come and see me. So I know that the respect
100%.
is there.
I mean, I was in Bristol, when you played in Bristol.
Yeah.
And it was one of them kind of tent things and stuff. And you know, you went on that, it was like sparse, and there was very few people in there. And then within like 10, 15 minutes,
it packed. Yeah, that's right.
Bristol, are you ready? Let me see your hands up, everybody, come on. That means this song is Ivy from the UK, and when it comes to lyric, well, I don't play. Well, as an entertainer and a DJ, well, I feel let me style them one away again. This song is Ivy from the UK, and when it comes to lyric, well, I don't play. Well, as an entertainer and a DJ, well, I feel let me style them one away. Well, I England, me born, and there's something cool when me start DJ, then buys the flow. Well, the lyrics and my flow from head to toe, and you know me knee and me elbow and me neck back and me eyebrow. And if you know me, I don't know me, hello. Well, this song is Ivy, one unique fellow. Well, this I got to take up. This
This is Irish from the UK, and when it comes to lyric, well, I don't play. Well, I'm the entertainer and a DJ. Well, I feel make the style then one way again. This is Irish from the UK, and when it comes to lyric, well, I don't play. Well, I'm the entertainer and a DJ. One job, listen lyrics.
And a lot of the time I find that, and then nowadays you gotta just keep it together because people smoke, you know, and they can't smoke inside the venues anymore. So when you start, the show might be full, you know what I'm saying? And then halfway through the show, you see the crowd, bits of the crowd going, you know what I mean? So you think to yourself, well, I must be not doing too good because why these people, it's the fact that they have to go out and go and smoke. And then towards the end of the show is packed again. Because they've gone and had their little fix and come back. So it's all these little things sometimes you just gotta just put out your mind and just do your thing. Keep reinventing yourself, you know, just keep trying ideas. You're not even reinventing as such, but you know, you just got to be, you know, I'm open to working with young artists, you know, like the Skins, you know, which is like a 4-piece band, like reggae, ska, you know, indie band, you know what I mean? And they come to me and say, Daddy Tip, you know, we want you to do a couple of tunes. And now those guys, they're big, you know.
And I do props.
Yeah, and so you do a couple of tunes with them, and you know, me and Horseman went on tour with them, and now they're doing well. They're playing at venues where most reggae acts can't play by themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you got to do. You got to have an open mind and work with different people, and it will stead you, you know, in a good way. But the book's out.
Good.
You know, the book is out, and you know, I want people to go and check it out. It's available at tipperirie.com. It's available at jackawanda.com, which is the publishers.
I'll have all that on there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool. It's glad I'm glad you sold them anyway.
Yes.
They says me asking you.
Same, yeah, you know, and Amazon, of course. It's available on Amazon, so they can get it, check it out. And yeah, it's gonna be, it's huge, it's doing well. It's number 1 on some of the charts on Amazon.
Yeah, I saw.
So, you know, it's definitely ticking over nicely, and I'm actually going to a book event when I leave here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you.
No problem, my brother. No problem. Thank you, brother.
It's been good. It's not the energy. We didn't have the same energy we had
in that room there, but it was still good. It was still good. I think it was still good. I think it was still good. We covered a lot of little things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's.
I think there are some areas that I think I would have liked to kind of explore a
bit more. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. But
well, we'll be here for hours, bro.
Yeah. I know. But you got things to do and stuff, and yeah. But it's luck, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No problem, man. Give thanks again. You know, bless up.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, guys,
we out.
Thank you for listening. Subscribe. Whichever one, subscribe. Set your notification.
Yeah, and like this video.
I like it. Yeah, we'll take it from there. But thanks for listening.
All right, bless up. Respect.
Lovely.
Well done, man. Well done. The virgin one's over.